All right, welcome back. I'm Carlos Charlie Munguia, and I'm here with the Nostradamus of Gaming, Shinke They. How's it going, Shinke?
Hey, hey, what up, Rasa? What's up? How you doing?
How are you, world? How's the world doing?
It's been a really cool week for geeks, but it's
Yes,
like Christmas
dude.
for geeks.
It is Christmas. I mean, we're talking about the newly released God of War, which has been like everywhere online. I mean, and plus it built up the exact hype that it needed to build up. I mean, it's all over the place. It's everyone's talking good about it. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and plus, the most important part is that we're going to talk about a few segments in the game that's not really that I have not seen yet. I have not seen any reviewer talk about these modes that you've experienced already. And also after this, we're going to talk about the greatest release of Marvel movies of all time, right?
Yeah, pretty much what Marvel movies have been building up for 10 years.
10 years, man. You're right. So I mean, and plus, now that this movie came out, you think it delivered?
We'll talk about that on
We'll talk about
on
that.
a later
Stay
section.
tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay
Nice.
tuned to the end because we'll talk about that.
So, God of War, obviously. I mean, like I was saying, it's all over the place. It's been getting reviews everywhere. I mean, they've been hyping this game up for years already. I remember seeing it at E3 last year. They showed some new footage and everything else, PX4 exclusive. And I mean, a lot of people were wanting it. They're raving about it. They want to know more about it. Now that it's come out, I got it on launch day. You got it a day before launch day, right?
Yeah, I got it a day before lunch
A
day,
day
so
before launch, and plus
I got
I
a
did
chance to
a
play.
open box of the Stone Mason Collector's Edition, which is awesome. I'll probably put that in the link somewhere below if I remember. Awesome edition. But so far, I mean, once I played the game, I mean, what did you experience once you played the game? Since you played it first, you played it a day before. What did you think? What was your first impressions of the game?
Well, the first impressions, first of all, and this was weird because the embargo for reviews was set up for a week before, exactly a week before the game was released. Sony was pretty confident on the product they had,
Yeah, yeah.
um, because they did it to build up hype. I'm pretty sure that's why they did it, to build up hype, and everyone, all the reviewers, they gave a lot of praise. I think the lowest score I've seen is an 8 out of 10
8 out of 10. Yeah,
on Metacritic,
very
and
true.
the and gamers score is also like pretty high as well. So yes, I was already expecting something really good, or expecting something extraordinary,
Uh huh.
and it did deliver. In fact, within the first hour, I got sold on the game, and yeah, it did deliver. It does make good on the hype. I think it is worth the hype.
It's worth the hype, dude. And plus, I mean, it has some fan service too. If you're like a fan of God of War, I mean, I've seen some reviews out there who have not played one, two, three, or even the spin-offs like Ghost of Sparta on the PSP or even Ascension. That they haven't played none of those, and they reviewed this game and they're loving it. But the thing is, I mean, if you played these past games, dude, you're like reliving this whole mythos of God of War. You know what I'm saying? Because God of War has some lore behind it. You know, especially through the area or the time span that it ran through the Greek era. But I mean, it's just if people who never played the other ones played this one, they're loving it. Imagine for the people who played the old ones and are playing this now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and in fact, well, one of the things that I was a little concerned about is the whole change of direction and everything.
Even the battle,
I
huh?
knew I knew the game was going to deliver on story-wise, and it was going to tell a more mature
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
and I'll go into that in a second because
Hmm.
I think it over-delivered on that front. But I
Hmm.
was a little concerned about the gameplay, on gameplay-wise, because the change of camera and changing some of the moves and stuff uh, made me feel that the game wasn't going to be as action heavy and as action packed
Hmm.
and as visceral as previous games. But not even. In fact, I think now I have, now that I played it around 60, 70 hours, um, I can tell you that it is actually it is even more visceral, and the combat is even more. If you see it on video, it might not feel like, but it is more. It is deeper, and it is even you can feel it even faster.
Uh-huh.
At some places when you're fighting on high levels, uh, you have to do a lot of things at once, and you have to manage a lot of things.
Yeah.
So the combat system is very deep. It is very deep.
It, it's satisfying. It's really satisfying.
It is satisfying. In fact, I think it's much better than the older games.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to remember if for the people who are hearing this, if you haven't played the previous God of Wars, they're mostly hack and slash, and plus they're combo based games. Remember that? How you hit and then you make combos, and then the combo levels. It says, I forgot what it was. It has like titles for each combo for each level that you break. It was more like a hack and slash, and plus there was different camera angles. It'd be on one side or overhead. The camera angles would change. Not like this one. This one's third person. So we're talking about like a hack and slash type of maybe Devil May Cry type of hack and slash, and we're moving it to like a third person Dark Souls. That's what it feels like, really, if you think about it.
Exactly, exactly. And it has and the combat system is probably as deep as any Souls,
Yeah,
but it is faster and it is more gratifying and more satisfying.
it's a good mix,
And
isn't it?
and
Because
this
I mean, it's a good mix because like, oh shoot, I mean, I can't say any spoilers. But the thing is, like, the weapons in the game. When I heard about these certain type of weapons, I'd be like, oh, you know what? That's why they don't have this type of weapon because it's too much for hack and slash. But then you find
uh-huh.
out that hey, this type of weapons are available. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say on
Yeah,
that. If you don't get to.
yeah. It can get really hectic really fast,
Yes.
and it can get to the speed and the pace of previous God of War games,
Uh huh.
and without changing the perspective and somehow make it work. In
Right.
fact, something that I've been thinking about, and this is a thought I've been had since I got the game.
Hmm.
This God of War, pretty much, the God of War series is kind of like parallel to Resident Evil, if you think about it.
Hmm.
Like for example, like older Resident Evil games, they had like fixed camera angles, and they had
Yeah, they
like this
did.
very idiosyncratic combat system and stuff.
Uh huh.
And then on Resident Evil 4, after spin-offs and stuff, Resident Evil
Ah.
4, it
Yeah.
changed the whole game. It changed the whole thing, and it became like third-person shooter and stuff.
Uh huh.
The mechanics changed and stuff, and I don't remember people being concerned actually for some reasons outside my grasp. I wasn't on the hype for Resident Evil 4. Um, but the thing is, it is very parallel. Like now, this game is completely different.
Hmm.
Like the whole direction of the game is completely different. The camera changed and stuff, and it's just uh, as surprisingly good as what Resident Evil 4 was back in the day when it came. So I've been just having that thought in my mind. Um, and the thing is, I am pretty sure even though God of War is lifting a lot of ideas and a lot of design decisions and also a lot of mechanics from other games, um, I do feel that it's going to set some trends for single player games.
Yeah, because I mean, people are burning. What's it called? I think it was EA and who else saying that single player games are dead. And
Yeah,
yeah, then this just proves them so
Activision and
wrong. Well,
EA.
yeah, it was Activision EA because I mean they mostly they do games that's online. What's it called? Call of Duty. All those games are just mostly
Hmm.
online. And what's it called? Then you got Blizzard that's doing what's it called? Overwatch. All those games that you just do like a PvP online, which is fine. I mean, that's another genre of gaming, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean that since those games are popular, that these story-based games, single-player games, are going to die out. Oh hell no. Not at all. I mean, this proves it wrong, obviously.
And the cool thing is that it's actually Sony is betting on the single player experiences. They have come the higher ups have come and publicly said that they do not believe on microtransaction bullshit, and they do not believe on the single player games being dead and stuff.
Yeah.
And not only they are betting on that, and they're actually putting their money where their mouth is, but they're actually over delivering. In fact, with Horizon, now God of War, and some other exciting prospects like Uncharted 4, for example,
Oh
Lost
yeah.
Legacy, and games coming up on the pipeline like Days Gone and Spider-Man, which now I'm really hyped about,
Oh, me too.
and Last of Us does. 2. I'm sorry, I Spanished. Uh,
That's fine.
Last of Us 2.
Last of Us. Uh huh.
Um, they're actually delivering really high quality games and high quality projects. So uh, I'm pretty sure PlayStation and a little bit of Nintendo too. That's where you are going to go for your single player dev experiences. Because Microsoft have been canceling their single player games. They've been focusing more on online multiplayer games and
Hmm.
stuff. And they've been focusing more on games as service. That's where they are going. They are going on the services. Uh, you have now the Game Pass, which is just another service, another subscription they want you to have and
Right.
stuff.
Hmm.
So they are betting more on that and on experiences that are more disposable or more like not I won't say yeah more not risky.
Uh huh.
Uh, and then you have like Sony like betting on single player games and just like old school experiences. And as I said, also Nintendo, they are also mixing it up, giving us a little bit of both ends.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you are more of the person who likes to play games for their stories, and you are like the loner gamer like myself,
Hmm.
uh, that's where it's at on PlayStation and the Nintendo camp. And if you are more into multiplayers and stuff, I think you should look up to the other consoles. And
Yeah.
not saying that Nintendo and Sony don't offer those options too, because you can still play Fortnite and those games on the PlayStation. But I mean, it's not the focus of the manufacturer, and that's good. To me, that's good that they offer you these options and they don't let this game die, but they come up with these really good products.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have options for the gamer, you know what I'm saying? You can either go one way or one side, or hell, have them all like we do. I mean, we got both consoles, so it's like, because sometimes I want to either
Exactly.
play something that's, of course, PvP or something, for example, like PUBG or something like that. I have it, have my friends on there, I play it. It just has more options, and it depends on how you feel. If I want a story, I go here. If you want to go online, I go there. So I mean, I'm glad that we have those. We could choose whatever we could do freely.
Exactly. Yeah, and well, if you can afford it, that's always the best thing to do.
Right, right, right.
Just have you have everything available, and not saying that. In fact, just before we started recording, I was telling Charlie that I might get Shenmue the HD collection on Xbox
Shenmue, yeah.
just because. But anyways, going back to God of War. So okay, so yeah, I do feel the game over deliver. I think the game it is worth the hype. I'm going to be very hyperbolic, but trust me, I've been going over my words and
Uh-huh.
going over my this game uh, during the past week.
Right.
And in fact, when every time that I feel like a little bored or tired about the game, something happens that just pulls me back up.
Oh God, dude,
And
tell me about that.
this is something funny. Probably if you're seeing the chat screen, you're gonna notice because on my Vita I'm playing Final Fantasy 6, so I'm playing parallel to God of War. Final Fantasy 6, which everybody, if you know me or you've been listening to a podcast for a while, you know that's my favorite game ever made.
Hell
So
yeah, it's Easter egg right there, buddy.
exactly, so I'm playing these two games side by side. I know I'm going to be very hyperbolic and stuff with my words, but I'm very confident. This is this is close. I mean, okay, this is the best game that has come out this generation.
Hmm.
And you know that I'm a Persona 5 fanboy, and then we have games like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. But I do think that God of War best them, and I do think it's a much better game. I mean, it is the game that is going to define this generation.
It's good, dude.
Uh,
Because just like you said, I mean, once I played it, my wife watches me play. My wife, this is her show. Me playing is her show. I mean, whenever she says that, don't play the main story without me. That's how into it she is. It's like you're watching like Game of Thrones or something. Like, hey, don't watch it without me because we want to watch it together. She does that with the main story, so that's why I pretty much finished all my side quests because I can't play the main story without her. And the thing is, I mean, it's just like you said, there's always something around the corner. I never have gotten bored with this game, just like running around, don't know what to do. When you're in the main story, it's freaking nonstop. And plus, there's no cinematics. If you notice, the
Hmm.
camera is always nonstop with you. The game doesn't stop and then load like a cinematic cut, like a cut scene like it did on the previous God of Wars. It doesn't do that.
Yeah.
The camera is straight fixed on you, and then all of a sudden it'll go to your third person view. So it's like it's nonstop. The action is nonstop. The story is nonstop. You want to know what happens next. And plus, if you played the previous God of Wars, you want to know what's going to happen to Kratos, Papa Kratos, because now Papa Kratos, he has depth. The character has so much depth now. And previous God
Hmm.
of Wars, he was just a freaking killing machine on a vengeance. That's all he was. Have you noticed that? I
Yeah.
mean, this one he has layers, dude.
Yeah, in fact, one of the things that I was most pleasantly surprised, and before going on to that, something that has been going on my mind also during the last week that I've been playing this game, and if you, and as I told you right now, I've been diving a little bit deeper onto game design,
Uh huh.
because
Oh yeah,
something
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
working on the side.
for sure.
So I noticed I've been noticing a little more about the design details of the game. Also, and this is something I highly recommend you. There is only if you have finished the game, or you don't mind spoilers.
Uh huh.
The spoiler cast, the Easy Allies. Easy Allies is the channel that everybody should know him.
Yeah.
Easy Allies spoiler cast with Corey Barlog,
Oh,
the
Corey. Uh
game
huh.
director,
Yeah, of course.
the game
Bro.
producer.
Mhm.
One of the persons that I admire the most in God of War 2. He's been one of my favorite game directors. Kojima, him, and Ken Levine. Those are the people I'm
Oh,
looking.
jeez. Yeah, of course.
That as my inspiration. But the thing is, um, listening to him talking about like some of the idiosyncrasies and some of the things the team did design wise on the game, and also things that I've been noticing. And I'm going to tie it up on Chris in a moment. Some very simple stuff, yet so elegant things they did to solve some problems and to make this experience. And
Hmm.
it is very holistic. For example, something that he mentioned on the spoiler cast, and this is not spoilers at all. In fact, I think it's going to enhance your experience. Is the visual language of the game is it's very calculated, and it's very deliberate. For example, do you notice like whenever you are going and going through the game, you see like the places that you're supposed to go to, they are marked with yellow markings and stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually a story behind that, and it's not explicit stories. It's not something that the game is going to tell you, but there is lore behind those markings. And the game is not going to tell you. He actually told everybody, the audience on the podcast, what those markings mean, and everybody in the comment section was mind blown, myself included. And the thing is, there's a lot of those things on the game, and the thing is, they did all of this with very simple things, and so goes with Kratos and his writing. I mean, how the character is written, and how the character progresses, because you can actually notice how he goes from point A to point B, and I'm not talking about the travel itself, but as a person, like how he challenged himself and his beliefs, and also the way he thinks in order to accomplish this, which is being a better parent, or being the support that his son needs, because now it's only them by themselves. And and this and if you only play the old games, once you finish this game, you won't even recognize the character, because he's totally completely different.
Oh my God.
He's
Yeah, he is.
he's a completely different person.
And also, like, if you, there's also like a digital comic book that you get in the collector's edition. It says a little bit on what he's doing in order to like improve himself. Like he fights wolves, but he fights them to the point that he doesn't kill them. He wants to subdue them. So
Hmm.
once the wolves attack, he wants to control his anger as full as possible to subdue them and not kill them.
Hmm.
That's like
And
what he's doing. He's like working on himself.
and there is and you can notice it. That's something that you can notice. It's not something that they have to tell you. You can actually notice it, and that's one of the things that tells you how masterfully this game is, how masterfully made this game is.
Uh huh.
Uh, because like in any other game, in any other lesser game, uh, if something happens or the character is thinking something, they have to tell you. Have you noticed that? Like you don't have to. I mean, you cannot, as a player, you cannot speculate what your character is going through or feeling, because they always tell you. They have to explain you. They have to expose what they're thinking. They have to expose what the story is, where the story is going. And here it is not like that. Everything is just based on conversations, like natural conversations within the boy and Mimir and Kratos, and also like how he moves, how he breathes, and like even how you play makes you realize like how Kratos feels and how Kratos thinks and all that. So they don't have to expose any of that. The game does it by itself because everything is so perfectly written.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It all goes seemingly together.
In fact, this is the closest thing. I mean, and probably we heard this with Uncharted and other games like Last of Us and Bioshock and whatnot. But I think this is the closest game that we have to a Hollywood movie, to like a really artsy one of those Oscar winner movies. I think this is
Dude,
the closest we
there's
have.
so much action. I mean, I remember when I first fought the stranger, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a last boss type of fight." When I first fought the stranger, which is like the first boss you fight, I was like so
Hmm.
surprised, dude. And once you put like a freaking epic battle as a first boss battle, you want to know how the hell the rest of the game is gonna be like, dude. Like, really? It's like, wow,
And the
dude.
and the thing is, they just step it up from there. It's not like it doesn't go down. It is not like the highest point.
I know.
It actually goes up from there.
But they hit you hard at first, like boom, dude. Like Kratos is weak in this world because now you're fighting things that are either at his level or higher. You're like, fuck, dude, because you figured you're the god of war, you're badass.
Hmm.
First bosses are gonna be, nothing. You're gonna smash them, but you're fighting people that are like at your level or above, and you're like, damn, dude. So now
Hmm.
there's stakes now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it makes it awesome, dude. And plus, and also, I mean, we could talk about other things also, like the difficulty. Depending on how you like your game. I mean, I try to play it on the hardest difficulty, but I was not getting it, dude. I was not passing anything. I remember I told you, dude, like the first battle, I was having such issues with the first battle. Right now I'm playing Give Me a Challenge, which is second to the hardest one.
Hmm.
And you said that you got farther, right? But you got stuck on the hardest level.
Yes. Yes. I actually got pretty far,
Hmm.
and this is my advice. The game is really tough. It's really hardcore because it has a lot. The combat the combat sections are very Souls-like, and they have a lot
Uh-huh.
of Souls DNA on them.
Yeah.
So they are hard. They are tough, and you're gonna get stuck. And actually, everybody that I've been talking with, and they've been saying the same. The game is hard. So if you are going to pick the game and you are not hardcore, I really suggest you to play on normal and even play on Give Me Story. Doesn't matter really. It doesn't. The game is challenging on those levels. Right now, since I finished the main story, I dialed it down to medium, to normal,
Hmm.
because I want to just explore and collect and go through the additional content. Um, and it is challenging still,
It still is challenging,
at
really.
that point. It is still challenging because the enemies, they can take a beating. Even though I'm really high level right now, enemies, they can still take a beating, and they blindside you and stuff. And 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 yeah, it is still challenging. So I do recommend you don't feel bad for playing on a lower difficulty if you're going to pick the game for the first time. It doesn't have any trophies tied to difficulty. That's normally why one of the reasons why I go for the higher difficulty, because I don't want to miss those trophies. It doesn't have any trophy tied to difficulty, so it doesn't matter. And if you want to start on give me a challenge and you feel that you're not progressing, instead of getting frustrated, just dial it down. You're not going to miss anything,
Cool.
or the game is not going to be boring because you go easier. It is honestly It is a difficult game. It's a challenging game.
So now speaking of difficulty and everything else, let's talk about these modes that you found out. The modes that I haven't seen online. I haven't seen when the embargo was lifted. I haven't seen anybody talk about extra about these two modes that you found. You're saying these are more like Easter eggs or more like things that are probably, how do you say it, that you actually need to work to get to, right?
Yeah, exactly. First of all, just to contextualize a little bit, um, referring again to the Easy Allies podcast with Corey Barlow, something that he mentioned that was also very noticeable and actually pretty badass is when somebody asked him like after you finish the main story, um, it feels like this guy said like it feels like in Red Dead Redemption. Uh, when you get the ending of the game, the game doesn't end. You play with another character and you just continue. This doesn't happen on God of War, so don't feel it's a spoiler. So you continue playing and then you have to get a second ending. Uh, so I
Wait,
feel like
you gotta
he
get a
asked
second
him,
ending?
no,
Oh, okay. I thought you
no,
did.
okay, no. I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption. What the guy said. So
Ah, okay.
he asked Corey. He like, so this was your intention? And the guy's like, well, that's interesting that you're mentioning that because that was not my intention. And then this is the contextual what I'm going to say
Okay.
next. He's like, our main our main template to make this game. He like the main template that we picked to make this game was Symphony of the Night. That's the game that we look
Yeah.
forward for
I
designing this
heard.
game. And he's like, "Do you remember when you finished the game when you fight Richter,
Uh-huh.
and if you did everything the right way, um,
The shit turns
actually you
upside down.
noticed exactly the castle turns upside down, and
Yeah.
then you have this other castle that you have to go through.
Yep.
That's what we aim for. That's what we aim for, and it kind of does happen on the environment too. Um, I'm not going to go any further. And personally, as everybody knows, I'm a anti spoiler person, so I don't mind spoiling things. So if you feel that I'm spoiling, just stop me, okay? Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, and the game opens up like, as I was telling you before we started recording. Even I've been playing more of the side content now than I played of the main story.
Hmm.
I play like around 35 hours of side content now.
Yeah, yeah, you're saying that.
Because it's so extensive. It is really, really extensive. Now going into the modes that you mentioned, there are pretty much two specific areas that you open
Yeah.
after completing some side quests, or some not side quests, some like Easter egg hunting. They are not hard to miss. They're not they're not hard to miss. So you can get them easily. But the thing is, one is Muspelheim, which is the trial section, which is a tradition to God of War. I mean, yeah, to God of War games, and I think you already uploaded a video on that, on the
Yes, I did.
trials.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the trial section that we are used to on all God of Wars, where you have to finish fights and finish challenges with specific conditions, and it's very extensive. You have 15 trials that you complete and different difficulty settings. First, you have 10 trials. After that, you go to the peak of the mountain and you have a surprise fight over there. Um, and then you have then a new like a marker opens up,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to collect keys to get to this last challenge, and then you have to go all the way back down and climb all the way up, and then you have to do impossible challenges,
So, God, that
which are
sounds
like just
inviting. That sounds very inviting.
if you are properly geared and stuff, you can make it. I was able to beat them in like 2 hours.
Oh,
There's
damn.
just one that I got stuck on. There's only one that I got stuck on that is very difficult, but the rest are not that hard, especially
Okay.
if you are properly geared.
Okay.
And then you can get to the last section. I won't spoil what the last challenge is.
Uh-huh.
It's really fun, in fact. But the thing is, once you finish, you get into a leaderboard.
A leaderboard. That's the
Nobody
thing
talked
that
about
tricked
it.
me out, dude. That's what tricked me out, dude. A freaking leaderboard? Like, really?
No, nobody talks about that.
I know.
Nobody mentions that.
Right?
I don't know if it's because they don't want to spoil or whatnot, but it's something nobody nobody mentioned at all.
That's
And
so
then
weird.
then the thing that I was most taken by surprise by is the Niflheim. Well, once you get to Niflheim,
Uh-huh.
um, it is actually a complete different game because it is a roguelike. It has a freaking roguelike inside the game, like a procedurally generated labyrinth, where you can go and you have to collect like souls and stuff. It is called mist echoes, so you have to collect mist echoes, so you can unlock like some special boss fights and get special gear, and then you get a special gear that only works on that. It works outside that the labyrinth too, but it's like specifically made for that labyrinth. It has some very specific and uh, uh, some very specific mechanics only exclusive to that game. It has permadeath. If you die, you lose all your progress, and you have to start all over again. And it has a very complete side quest that you have to complete. I don't even want to call it side quest. I just want to call it like other quest because they are not like they just feel as important as the main quest.
Right, right.
And you can spend hours and hours. In fact, today that's what I've been playing, and I've been playing like for 7 hours, 7 8 hours already, and
Holy
that's
damn.
all I've been playing Niflheim. And you play completely different because the game is different there. The strategy is different, mindful of your time and all that. And as I mentioned, like something happened that my game closed, shut down, and I lost like an hour of progress.
Oh,
And
damn,
then
dude.
and and the thing is that's something that only applies there. And the thing is, this is one of the features that you would advertise because that this is content that you have in your game that will entice some people to buy it. For example, the chalice dungeons on Bloodborne,
Oh,
which is pretty much
Bloodborne. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
it's something similar to that. Something similar to that. And but nobody talked about this, and I don't know if the reviewers and other people didn't mention it because either didn't get it, didn't play that far, or they didn't want to spoil. I don't think it's a spoiler. I actually think is something that people should be aware of. That there is this hidden mode inside the game,
Of course, man.
and and but nobody talks about it. In fact, the reason why actually because I was just keeping it until I finished another side quest, which is not a side quest. It's also a very very long quest. It takes a very long time. It's just as epic as the main quest, probably.
Yeah.
Um, I was going to wait until the end, but then I read on a Facebook page about Niflheim having like somebody mentioned like, oh, I'm gonna use this time to grind on Niflheim. Like, why the fuck would you have to grind Niflheim? Once I got there, I'm like, oh,
That's
this
why.
is what he's talking about. This is my because I like roguelikes and I like of course I like Souls games. So
Yeah, of course, man.
so this is like yeah this was made specifically for me. So and this is something that nobody I didn't hear I haven't heard anyone talking about, and it's like a very huge thing because a different mode or a secondary mode inside your game or like a game inside your game, and but this is something that you as the publisher you would advertise and have people uh, uh, go for it and making the effort to actually unlocking and going through that.
I
It's
know,
one of
that's
the
so
features
weird.
that you want to advertise.
But I mean, at least now you're throwing it out there. So hopefully, I mean, now I definitely want to play it and I want to beat it and I want to go to that level because I do want to. I mean, I was so afraid that I don't want to beat this game. You know, I want it to last forever, dude. Because the story is so enticing, the battle's refreshing, the whole game is refreshing. So that's so good to know. So like, I want to see if I could beat the game in like the next few days if I have time. But I mean, other than that, I'm already telling me that I got a few more hours left, so I might as well just just finish it as soon as I can.
But the thing is, I was actually thinking exactly the same as you. I'm
Hmm.
like, once I'm done with the story, I probably like I'll just I will probably do a couple of the side missions, just do a couple of the collectibles,
Right.
and just like uh, put the game on put the game back on the shelf.
Yeah.
But but the thing is, once I started doing the side missions, I realized that actually the main quest is just half the game. Is there is so much content. The game is packing so much content that is hidden behind the end game that it's some other RPGs and some other games I will envy having this much content, and not only having a lot of content, because this is something that I want to make a very specific distinction on. Not only having a lot of content, but having quality content,
Yeah.
because the game doesn't drop quality at all. Like even the most insignificant side quest, like just collectible, just collecting the ravens, is really good. That's also it keeps the high quality bar. So that's this is what I'm saying. This game is probably the game that is going to mark the generation, because every single detail, every little detail, every little thing is perfect. Is polished to perfection, and it does things that no other games have done, and honestly, it takes narratives from game to a different level, and writing on games also goes to a different level. So yeah, that's to using that and saying that this is the game that is going to mark the generation, going to be um, the next like the bar for single player games from now on.
Nice, dude. That's freaking awesome, man. That makes me. I just got done playing it. Now, after this, I want to play some more. But yeah. So that's pretty much God of War. I mean, do you have anything else to say about it before we switch gears?
No, no. Pretty much, I think that I mentioned everything, and I mentioned I tried to go through things that I didn't hear on other people's reviews, but all I want to say is that I highly recommend it. Honestly, I highly recommend it. Believe the hype, believe what the reviewers say, and yeah, it just keeps going, and is the game that keeps on giving.
The game that keeps on giving, and that's for sure, man. So yeah, so God of War, it's worth it. I mean, we give it our stamp of approval. You could say definitely. You can't go wrong with that. So that's pretty much it with God of War. Now let's talk about the latest blockbuster coming from Marvel. Dude, let's talk about Infinity War, man. What do you? I mean, we can't. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, we'll do it spoiler free as best as we can, right? Or I mean,
Uh, I think we should do like an impressions type of
uh,
thing without spoiling, and then we'll just give it. Well, then we just go full spoilers. But we mentioned we do the cutover so people can drop the video if they want. But
okay, cool,
let's
cool,
just
cool.
do let's just do a quick impressions about the movie. So I want to hear you first.
My quick impressions
So
of the
what do you
movie.
think about it?
The thing is, my first impression is the movie just jumped straight to what needs to happen. If you notice, the movie was like 3 hours long, almost. It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours and 45.
2 hours and 45. And what I noticed that this movie was like Empire Strikes Back, dude. Like at the end, it left such a freaking cliffhanger. It's like, what's gonna happen next? What are they gonna do? But before we get to that, but I noticed that in the movie, a lot of things are happening. It's like balls to the wall. All kinds of things are happening around the world, even in space. You know what I'm saying? They're taking it from space, different planets, and Earth. Everything is going on. And I do like how they portray Thanos in this one. Thanos is they label him as one of the greatest villains here in the Marvel, in the MCU universe. Hands down, he's one of the greatest enemies, dude. One of the greatest villains. And and it's so hard to portray like his motive compared to the comics. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember back in the
Yeah.
past, I remember he said like how 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 you liked, well, not how you liked, but how why he was like destroying or having his plan about what to do with the universe. But through the comics, it was to impress somebody. It was to gain the love of somebody, of Lady Death, obviously, in the comic books. So in this one, I think they did a good job. I mean, he has a, how do you say, a belief or a theory on why what needs to happen, and he's really like full forward onto it. But I mean, I think it does kind of lose a drive without something behind it, kind of like in the comics, doesn't it? I mean, that's what I thought.
In fact, well, I would like to take this discussion further on the spoilers because I
Mhm.
want to talk more about specifics.
Yeah,
But I think first of all, it was Thanos movie. It wasn't Avengers. It should have been
yeah,
called Thanos Infinity War. It would have
yeah,
been would have been more fair.
yeah.
First of all, and I think Thanos is not only the best Marvel movie villain
Yeah.
by far. There is
Yeah.
no
Oh God.
contest.
Yeah.
He's so good like that. He no contest, no contest.
Mhm.
He's the best Marvel villain. He's the best. He's probably Joker height on Dark Knight Returns. I
Oh
mean,
jeez.
on Dark Knight,
Yeah.
he's probably Dark Knight like Joker level of good, if not better.
Jeez.
And yeah, he's one of the best characters that I've seen on action movies or like those type of movies. Now about the picture itself, I think it did deliver. I think it
Mhm.
did deliver on what the promise was. I think it did. It is not the end of.
No, of
It
course
is not
not.
the end
It's
of
not the end.
because
A lot of people thought it was the end though. Even like the people I watched it with, they're like, "Is that
mhm,
it?" I'm like, "Nah. If you know the story, if you read the comics, this is where
mhm.
everything goes down, but eventually it'll come back up." But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, they're going to pick up because we already know there's going to be a part two to Infinity War. So
hmm
this is not where the story ends. So it's going to go places from here.
hmm
But it does deliver on the promise of having this huge comic type crossover event.
right.
Something that really surprised me was the fact that it had a lot of main characters because it had like everyone from all the movies,
Yeah.
and none of them felt wasted or none of them felt like unimportant to the story.
hmm
So they have enough screen time to shine or enough screen time to uh, to make worth the time they get. Some characters got a little bit more screen time and their arcs went a little bit further
hmm
than some others. But yeah, everybody was treated equally and everybody was given enough to make you feel that no character was wasted.
No,
And
man.
but mainly yes, I think it was Thanos movie. It shouldn't have been called Avengers. It should have been called Thanos Infinity War, honestly.
And
And
the thing is that jumping off what you said about having a screen time for each hero or whatnot, I noticed that not all the heroes got to meet each other. Have you noticed that? Like
yes,
Guardians of the
exactly.
Galaxy just met Thor, and then they met Iron Man. Or I'm not going to get more into that, but spoilers. I'm not getting more into that. But I noticed that. I thought that all of them are going to huddle up, like in the comics, like, hey, we're going to huddle up, and Doctor Strange is going to say, we're going to all do this, and then send them off. No, dude, they're all doing their little stories, and Thanos is jumping between them. Have you noticed that? They jump
Yeah.
between this group of heroes, then he jumps to these group of heroes. They don't all meet each other. I noticed that, and I'm like, shit, that would have been cool if they would have all met each other. But then again, this is part one, so I bet part two they're going to, somehow get together and meet all each other. Because one of the greatest things that I like about the MCU is the interaction between two heroes for the first time. Like, oh my god,
Uh-huh.
remember when we watched Avengers, the first Avengers? We watched it
Yeah.
together. I think we watched it like 2 or 3 times. Remember when you saw Iron Man like meet up with Captain America? We're like, what? Remember he's like, hey Cap. We're like, what? Oh my god, and then they interacted. That was like
Yeah,
mind
exactly.
blowing, dude. Remember that? And that's what I like seeing these movies, them getting together, seeing how they talk to each other, how they relate to each other, how they make fun of each other, how they piss each other off. That I love seeing that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that are appealing about these crossover movies,
hmm
and going into that, the movie actually did subvert some of my expectations,
hmm
and this is a little confession I need to make. I think I mentioned it before, but I got burned out on superhero movies like since 2 years ago.
Yeah.
There's in fact a bunch of the MCU movies that I haven't watched, and I've been because I got tired of them and in fact I want to watch Infinity War more on an impulse than prepared. I actually went on a midnight screening because I bought tickets yesterday, same day, because I wasn't planning to go. I was just hearing everybody talking about the movie and also reading online the hype, and I got a little bit into the hype, and then honestly, it did blow my expectations because I was expecting just another superhero flick, and
Right,
I
right.
got something different. I got
Yeah,
something
dude.
completely different,
Hell
and this
yeah.
is cool because I'm fan of all the Avengers of '90s Avengers
Oh
and
yeah,
Infinity War and stuff like that.
of course.
And that's how the comics were. Remember, like
Yeah.
back in the day on Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet saga, it is not like a normal superhero comic. It's a very
No.
philosophical, spiritual, very like complicated comic that
Even
goes into
dark.
philosophy.
Wasn't it dark,
Exactly.
dude? Yeah.
It is really dark. It is really dark, and it makes you think about different stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie goes to those places too.
Oh hell,
It
it
goes
was
to those
dark, dude.
places.
But when I saw a few things, I'm like, well, this is for kids, right? I mean, there's some dark things in there, dude. Like, there's no hope whatsoever, and I don't know, dude. It's weird.
And it toys with some very interesting ideas and some very interesting concepts. And it actually, even though the whole how the story uh, was displayed and stuff, it's not nothing like the original comic. It does it to me had the same taste. It had the same it hit the same notes because that's how the comic went. If I remember that I mentioned it before, but like for example, Thanos doesn't some of the gems he doesn't get them by this is on the comics, so I'm not talking spoilers about the movie, okay?
Okay.
On the comics, he doesn't get some of the gems by actually fighting, but by actually convincing the Eternity entities to give them to them,
Yeah.
and by just having philosophical debates with them. So I remember when I was a kid and I read that, it just blew my mind. That and another comic that I got a lot of a lot of sentiments or a lot of kind of like notes from was Galactic Storm, Operation Galactic Storm, which is an Avengers story that you think is going to go some places, but it actually goes to a whole different place. And after the story's done, you just feel down and you just feel depressed.
All right. Like a
And
roller coaster of
that's how
emotions, dude. That's how the movie was. A roller coaster of emotions.
exactly. So we can go to spoilers because we're toying and dancing dangerously on that line. So before we
So
jump
okay,
into spoiler
before we
session,
jump in, dude, this is spoilers. Stop the video now. But before we say the spoiler section, we're gonna say the movie's awesome. Go see it. It's a long movie. Go to the bathroom before you see it. But it's a great movie. It delivers. And if you've been watching all the Marvel movies, this is the movie that you've been waiting for the last decade, 10 years in the making, pretty much. So yeah, go watch it. And now we're gonna go in the spoiler mode right now.
yeah, I just want to give my word before jumping spoiler mode. Yes, if you have watched the Marvel movies, you already watched the movie, so I'm pretty sure of that. And if not, go watch it. It does deliver.
It does
it's good
deliver.
movie.
It's
And if
good.
you are not an MCU fan and you are not an MCU movie person, you will still find enjoyment in this movie.
Yeah.
It's good. It's that good, and I do recommend to go watch it.
Hell yeah. So on that note, now let's go in the spoiler section now. So what do you want to start off with that?
Okay, all right. So first of all, I want to start by okay, the people that dies. I want to start from the end. Let's start from the end and go back to the beginning. Let's go
Okay.
from top down. The scene that really got me. And the thing is, you probably figured this, but I spoiled the movie for myself before I went and watch it because
Of
again,
course,
I'm
yeah,
not a
'cause,
person
yeah.
of spoilers.
Right.
I'm more of I'm a person about stories, not about about the payoff. I'm more about the whole delivery.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's still the scene that really got me because that's when I felt like I felt the desperation of the heroes was when Spider-Man died. When
Oh my god,
Spider-Man
dude.
disintegrated.
You saw the post that my wife put, right? Of
Yes.
what's his name? The doctor. Oh, dude. Why did I forget his name? Anyways, but there's a scene in one of the doctors, and from Doctor Who, and he says that I don't want to leave, I don't want to go, and then he turns into Matt Smith, and I don't know if they took a reference from that, but that was heartbreaking, dude. That was really heartbreaking, and I didn't think he was gonna go because he's when Thanos flips his fingers, half of the universe randomly dies. They don't choose who dies and who what. And Spider-Man being one of them, I was like, ooh, that hit home. I mean, at first it was Black Panther. I was like, no, not Black Panther, because I liked them too. And all of a sudden, Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, dude, this is screwed up. This is done, dude. I was like, I'm done. Look at this. I'm going home.
Yeah, no. In fact, yeah, it hit me really hard because Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character,
Oh yeah, by far.
and he's one of the popular ones. And I didn't think he was going to go. But the thing is, I do feel on the next movie. I mean, I don't feel. I think that it's going to happen because they have another Spider-Man movie in the works, and also there's another Black Panther movie in the works.
Hmm.
So they will bring him back. And in fact, I kind of have a speculation. So I have a theory what they're gonna do. Uh, but the thing is, still like it felt because you could feel like Peter's like desperation and how like hopeless he was
Oh my
because he
god,
was
dude.
already he realized his fate
Yes,
when it was
yes.
happening, and then he climbed into Stark, and it was a really heartbreaking scene.
Oh my
Honestly,
god.
I have to admit I broke into tears on that particular scene.
Dude, my wife
Eh,
was crying. I was like, but the thing is, I mean, you know what's gonna happen if you read the comics. I mean, you know what's gonna happen. But it's yeah, I know, I get it, I get it, I get it.
the thing is how because Thanos and fuck Thanos, dude. The guy is dude. Thanos, even if without the gauntlet, he could have like beaten the shit out of the Avengers
Oh
easily, dude.
yeah,
The
yeah,
thing
I
is,
know.
how are they gonna do it? The thing is, I have no, honestly, I have no clue how they're gonna beat him. I have
Well,
no clue how they're gonna beat him.
well, first, they got Captain Marvel now. She's like the Superman of the MCU supposedly. So they're gonna have Captain Marvel. I don't know what she's gonna do, and I don't know who Captain Marvel is gonna bring to the table. Adam Warlock, whatever, you know. And the fun and God, I wish there was Silver Surfer on there because if you recall, the Hulk breaks into Doctor Strange's house. I almost said Doctor Who. In the comics, Silver Surfer is the guy who falls to Earth and smashes into Doctor Strange's house and gives that message. So that was kind of
Uh-huh.
weird.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, this happened in the movie too. Remember, when Heimdall actually teleported him to the stranger's house, and actually he does give the message to Doctor Strange. There were some of the things that they kept from the comic, but just some of like the check marks
Uh huh.
relatable to comic book fans. But I think it's the whole backbone of the story. And in fact, I do have the feeling, although at the end, the gauntlet is just as powerful as the comic one, that especially the stones, like individual stones, they are not as powerful as the stones on the comic.
Right. Right.
But yeah, but the whole gauntlet is the same. He just snapped his finger, and they just kept saying that, like, if he gets the stones, he just snap he's gonna snap his fingers, and
Yeah.
half of the universe will die. And they just kept saying that, just kept saying like, dude,
We
yeah,
know it.
we
We
know, we
get
know it's
it.
gonna
We
happen.
got it.
Yeah, just show it. Just show it.
Hey,
You
but
don't have to
also,
repeat all the time.
one more thing, dude. I was blown away when I seen this character make a surprise comeback. You must know who it is. When
Yeah,
Thanos,
Red Skull, right?
yeah, dude, Red Skull, dude, is like, what the hell? I mean, I remember in Captain America 1, where he held the Tesseract, figuring he was strong enough, and he gets sucked. He gets. It looks like he got burned. It looks like he got burned by the Tesseract. But a lot of people said that hey, he might have got transported somewhere. That rumor's been kicked around so many times, and now it's valid that yes, he got teleported to another realm, which was that the planet that he took Gamora to. I don't remember the planet. Planets had weird names, but that's where the
Boromir.
yeah, that's where the Soul Stone was at, and he's imprisoned there for forever. And this makes me think: is he going to come back in the future MCU? Because he's alive. He'd be an excellent villain for the future or something.
Yeah. In fact, they could. The fact that they showed him in this movie, and one thing is, it actually does make sense,
Yeah,
because if he was hit by the space stone,
yeah,
he wasn't supposed to die. He was just supposed to be displaced somewhere else.
exactly.
And also the fact that he mentioned that the stones have will of their own, that was kind of weird too. But I
Yeah,
mean, it does. I mean, it makes sense. But in fact, I don't know why I have the feeling it's going to the Red Skull might play like an important role on a future movie. Because if they're going to keeping up in the ante and stuff, they have to have like an enemy on that level. And Red Skull in the comics, he's one of the biggest
oh,
enemies of
dude,
the
he's
Avengers, and he's
freaking
done some
triple A,
very
dude.
fucked up shit.
He's triple A.
Yeah, and the
He's
thing
he's
is,
he's up there with Doctor Doom and all of them, dude. The fucker's a tyrant, man.
And the thing is, he's done some very, very fucked up shit on the comics.
Oh God,
And the
dude,
thing
yeah.
is, and showing him on that state, on that place, and doing what he does, it makes me feel that now he's kind of like communing with the space entities and stuff. So he
Yeah.
might come back, and he might be do some messed up shit.
Dude, what if they bring a like Axis, the Axis story arc where he becomes like
Exactly,
Onslaught, the part of Onslaught, dude, or something like that. I don't know, dude.
exactly,
And
exactly. Like, oh,
when I saw him, I'm like, oh shit, this opens another door to whatever, dude. So yeah, definitely.
and then remember now that Marvel will start making X-Men movies on a
Yeah,
on
dude.
a on a too and a not too distant future, most likely for Phase 4 of MCU.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be too crazy if they actually go and make the Onslaught Saga or
Right?
Axis or something like
Oh
that.
man, if they did
That would be
Onslaught,
badass.
oh
And they
dude.
and they can do legit Civil War too, and they
Right?
can do
Right?
legit Avengers versus X-Men and stuff. But well, just going back into the movie, to this something I want to discuss. And it's about Thanos. I'm actually very and this is something that's why I wanted to wait until the spoiler section to talk more about it. But the thing is, it is true that the character is way different from the comics on some stuff. For example, his motivations
Yeah.
on the comic books, his motivation is very weird. Honestly, it's very comic book like. And here in the movie, it is simpler. He has a simpler motivation. But the thing is, the thing that he's fighting for, it is actually something that I do agree with. It's something that I do like. I kind of like sympathize with.
Mm.
So like, and the thing is, I didn't see on the movie, on the comic books, because he has this goal, and his goal is to impress Mistress Death, and because he's in love with Mistress Death, and he
Yeah.
wants to hook up. And that's why he does everything that he does, because he's so in love with death.
With death, yeah.
But here, he's actually more concerned about the he's more concerned about life, and he's concerned about like the just life keep on going, because he actually, the points that he make are very valid. He's like, the universe is out of balance because life is out of control, and I've seen worlds go extinct because people just keep on war and just keep on using resources, and they just keep on being shits to each other. So
Hmm.
the only way that we can fix this, and that I can bring peace and prosperity to life, is by just cutting half of it and just balance it out. And that's something that I actually do agree with. I can agree with. And if you think about it, especially because he got again, he got most of the screen time. So this was Thanos movie. This wasn't the Avengers movie. It was Thanos movie.
Hmm.
Um, the thing is, I actually didn't see him as a villain per se, and that's what I think. He's better than other villains and better than other bad characters in other movies. The thing is, he wasn't written as a villain, and he wasn't. I didn't feel him as a villain. I felt him as a very, very tragic and very messed up and misguided, uh, a misguided figure. I saw him as a tragic figure, and the scene that really hit it home for me was that scene when he got the Soul Stone.
Oh yeah, he had
When
to do sacrifice, man.
Yeah, when he sacrificed Gamora, because even herself, she was like, I kind of felt like Gamora was the audience, and Thanos was Thanos. So like everybody was like, yeah, fucker, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna win, because there is this thing that, because you are like this mustache twirling villain that only knows evil and only wants to kill the galaxy and stuff. But then you realize that he actually, that's not what he's all about. He was like, even on the ship before they go to get the stone, he tells her like, I show you how to be strong. I taught you how to be strong. I taught you how to be all these virtues and stuff. But I never taught you how to lie. I taught you how to be kind, how to be loving, how to be a strong woman, how to be a strong warrior. But I never taught you how to lie. And the thing is, the guy has like, if you see his moral compass, he's screwed up. But the thing is, he's not evil, and he doesn't see himself as evil. And I necessarily don't think he's evil. He's just messed up on how he accomplishes his goals.
Well, that's what
But the
makes a
thing is,
perfect villain, dude. That's what makes a perfect villain, dude. I mean, story wise, hell yeah, dude.
it,
Just have like some sort of motivation, and you're kind of like saying, okay, from I can see what he's talking about through his eyes. Okay, I kind of get it. I kind of get what he's doing, but in reality, is morally wrong. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
exactly. But the thing is, if you for example, and this is what I got very pleased about the whole movie. So if you go and watch it as a popcorn flick, it does work. So you can just go and watch it to have fun, and it's fine. You will enjoy it because it is a fun movie. It
It
is a
is.
fun
It
movie. But
is.
if you go into more like in deep and more, if you think about like the deeper topics and the things that are discussed, just like the original comic. That's when I mentioned that it hits those notes, because in the original comic you can read it for the action and the cool art and stuff and have fun with it. But once you start thinking about the stuff that are being discussed, and the morality that is being discussed and is being put on the table, it goes into way better. It goes into
Oh
a
yeah.
way deeper, and goes like somewhere else. And that's what I felt this movie went. When you actually see not only Thanos, but you see there are points there are points in the movie where I actually was rooting for the bad guy, and I didn't want the good guys to win. And not because I sympathize with Thanos and be like, oh yeah, I want you to kill half of the galaxy. Not because of that, but because like how he actually had the best intention, and he like you actually see him cry during the movie. He actually has like feelings and stuff. And he like I, something that we expect the hero to be the person who is always like making the biggest sacrifices and stuff, and sacrificing the most to accomplish their goals and stuff. But here, not only here, the bad guy does that, and he mentions that he like I gave up a lot of things. I actually gave up my planet. I gave up my crew, my whole army. I killed my daughter in
Yeah, he
order to accomplish
sacrificed a
this. So
lot.
I'm going to accomplish this because I am doing all the
Dude,
sacrifices.
he put all the stakes on the table, man. He's like he's done. He has nothing. So it's like shit. Might as well go, all balls to the wall because like you said, he sacrificed already a lot. I already said like the day was full of sacrifices. I remember when he met up with Doctor
Hmm.
Strange on his home planet.
Exactly.
So damn, dude.
Ex- exactly. No, and if you notice it, and this is a really cool parallelism to draw between the two factions in the game.
Hmm.
Thanos, he was willing to sacrifice one life in order to save trillions, and he was willing to sacrifice as many lives as necessary, even his army, and his whole wealth,
Yeah.
and his whole power, even his whole reputation. He was because and this is one of the coolest things too when he told Stark at the end after they had like that really badass fight.
Oh yeah.
Uh, when he pulls up a Marvel versus Capcom superpower, that was badass.
Over this
Uh,
Capcom superpower.
when he pulls the moon down, that was
Oh my goodness, that was like an ultra. That was like quinto, like you guys say, huh? That was like an ultra
yeah,
move, dude. The funny part is
yeah.
like, if you throw another moon on me, I swear, I fucking threw a whole planet on him, dude. That was freaking
Eh,
amazing, dude.
and the thing is, at the end of that scene, after he beats the Avengers and all that, if you notice, he doesn't actually kills anyone, and he tells Stark like, I hope you are remembered, and I admire you, and I admire you, and I respect you, and I hope that you are remembered because I am going to remember as the guy who killed half the universe. So like, dude, that's some really deep shit, dude, right
Oh,
there.
dude, yeah.
Some yeah, because you start to think about like things, even like for example, like even some simple shit, like when you for example give uh, a punishment or something to someone that you really care about in order for them to grow better, to learn something good, and at the end you are remembered as this tyrant because you did all this bad stuff, but in the end you were doing it for a good reason.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
And then drawing the parallelisms, if you notice, the Avengers were all about not sacrificing lives, and like there is not even Captain America says like we won't give a life in order to
Oh,
accomplish
life
this.
for a life. Yeah, we don't do life for a life. Yeah, yeah, true.
Exactly. So like how like this complete opposite, like these two complete like polar opposite ways to accomplish the same goal. And yeah, it goes to and and that's the funny thing. He goes to very deep places on a superhero flick. So
Yeah, dude.
that's why.
They did a great job. I came out there like emotionally drained, dude. I was like, I mean, once the credits start rolling, I'm like, wow, that's it. They just cut you off like, boom. They don't
Mhm.
tell you anything. But if you notice, this could be nothing. But if you notice that when it says Infinity War, if you notice that
Mhm.
when it starts like erasing the words, you can see
Mhm.
you can see a number two, or like a number three
Mhm.
or number two at the end, like Roman numeral wise, meaning that there
Mhm.
might be a second or a third, but you can kind of see that like that part of when it starts erasing the whole sentence or the word. You see it next time, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, and after the after credit scene, which I thought it was underwhelming. Um,
Oh yeah, where they showed
uh,
Captain Marvel, the symbol of Captain Marvel.
yeah, it was funny because a lot of people were like, "Who's that?" Like, oh,
Really?
okay,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
she's
that's it.
not. Well, she's just getting big now, but like, she's not as big as Spider-Man or anybody else, obviously. Well,
She's getting
yet.
big because well, I have my mixed feelings about Captain Marvel. She's one of my old school. She was one of my favorite characters when she was Miss Marvel
Mm-hmm.
because she was my Marvel comics crush.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She and Jean Grey. Actually, I have an action
Oh,
figure of Captain Marvel right in front of me
dude,
right
me
now.
was Rogue in the comics.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can consider myself as a fan of Captain Marvel. I have not been very keen with what they have done with her on the comics because she's been used more as a propaganda machine than an entertainment medium,
Uh huh.
more as a propaganda machine. So I've been disenchanted with Marvel comics for years now. But yeah, I'm like I'm kind of hyped for the Marvel for Captain Marvel's movie because in the MCU they have kept the politics outside.
Right.
So I'm hoping that she's going to and besides they said on the MCU she's going to be the most powerful character there is. Uh, so she will be the only person that physically capable of going toe to toe with Thanos and resolve the whole thing, or at least give a little bit of advantage. Um, yeah. So, but I was like kind of like bummed that people didn't know who the whole after credit movie scene was
I
like.
know. First, because like I saw the symbol, I'm like, oh, that looks familiar. And then they put the colors, the red and the blue, and I
Uh
was like,
huh.
oh, okay, I know who it is. Because when I saw the symbol, it was like in black and white. I'm like, wait a second, that looks familiar. Then the colors popped up. I'm like, okay, I know who it was with the color scheme. And the thing is, she got pretty popular in Civil War II in the comics, if you remember that, because
Yeah.
it was against Iron Man and Captain Marvel. That's the start of the Civil War II.
Yeah, and in fact, that's one of the main things that I don't like about what one of the things that they have been doing with the character that Civil War Two was. I saw it as a character assassination.
Yeah.
They're
Oh
trying to
yeah,
fix it
dude. Big
now.
time. Big
They've
time.
been
Yeah.
trying. They've been trying to fix it. Carol before when she was Miss Marvel and when she was Captain Marvel, but before the new mm, politically driven Marvel.
Hmm.
Um, she was emotional and she was more like emotion driven and more like gutsy, a more gutsy character
Right.
um, than like a tactician or a strategic as the original Captain Marvel or Captain America.
Uh huh.
But she was a very like a character with a big heart and a character that was very loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Here on the new Marvel and since Civil War 2, she's been just set up as a freaking asshole, dude.
Right?
And
I
and
know, like
and
like
I
like
don't
my way or the highway type of person. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And she's not. She's never been like that. Plus, she doesn't look sexy anymore. So it's like, ah, what the fuck, dude. And I
But
really
we'll
like, dude.
we'll see how they portray her because I heard that the movie they're going to come out with is going to be in the '80s when it's going to be with Nick Fury when he has both his eyes when he's just joining
Hmm.
the Force or whatever. Shield. So I mean that's going to be a pretty interesting take on that. I saw some pictures in online like how it's going to look like. So it's going to be like a prequel to everything, I guess, to her. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, yeah, and on the picture she's sporting Marvel's uniform. She's not
Yeah,
sporting her uniform.
yeah, exactly.
So I hope they go through the whole set of costumes so she has Mockingbird's costumes and stuff.
That'd be pretty
But
badass too.
yeah, I'm pretty hopeful about the movie. I think I kind of have I do have some speculations where they're going to go,
Of course.
and why she's not defending Earth. She's probably with the Kree Empire all the way up there and the have the galaxy. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm hopefully she's going to turn into binary too, because that's gonna be badass. But but yeah, honestly, I don't know how. I mean, I know they're going to resolve the whole conflict. I don't think they're gonna kill Thanos. To be honest, I think they're gonna keep him there, and I think he's going to be like a big player on the next Marvel phases. Probably not going to be the bad guy, or who knows. But I don't think they're gonna kill him because he's proven to be very popular, and the character is so well written. And right now he's so rooted on the MCU canon that I hardly see they killing him.
Oh no, I bet they're gonna trap him in the reality stone, or trap him somewhere in the stones and just leave him there to till they break him out again, or they use him as a reference. That's what I bet they're gonna do. Just gonna sedate him. They're not gonna kill him. No, definitely not.
Or, or they might have a whole galactic storm type of moment there. I don't
Hmm.
know if you read that specific saga, but at the end with the brain, what's it called, the mastermind,
Mastermind, yeah.
uh, the the mastermind, or the brain master. I don't remember this god AI the Kree made. Uh, it was doing some awful stuff, and at the end, the Avengers have the option to just leave it there. But in a very democratic process, they decide to kill it, and then they have like really a really moral hangover, like a really it's better than I'm just going through it very fast, but it is much better. It's one of my favorite Avengers stories.
Cool, cool,
Um,
cool.
if they might actually do that, they might actually go that way. They might actually have Thanos on the ropes at the end of the next movie, and they might actually have this moral dilemma and another civil war there, like what to do with him, kill him or let him live. So they might go Galactic Storm there, and I hope they do, because that would be really that
There'll
will
be some
take
hell to pay,
the MCU even one step further.
right? Cool, man. Well, I think yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Unless you want to say anything, any last words?
Yeah, well, just really quick. The movie's not perfect by any means.
Oh,
There are some stuff that were very cheaply done, and not cheaply done by the fact of like the artistry and the making of it, but like some stuff that for example, like the fight for Wakanda, and that was kind of, for me, was kind of stupid and stuff. But but the thing is, those were so minor, and they were more like that, like they were trying to tell a different story than what the action portrayed. So I actually gave it a pass for
okay.
to all the little plot points and the little like things that didn't make sense, and the little like movie cop outs and fantasy fantasy solutions, because they were trying to tell a different story, just like the in the comics on the Infinity War. uh, they did the best with what they could with the
Well,
medium.
what they
So
had,
yeah.
yeah. Well, what they have. So, what can you do?
Exactly, but that I highly recommend. I actually want to go watch it again, because
Actually, I want to watch it
it was a
again
really
too
good
to see the
experience.
little details that they have, and yeah, and I'm definitely going to get the Blu-ray or whatever and watch it 100 times over again, like I did with the Avengers one. So I'm definitely going to do that. And plus, it changes the MCU universe. It's changed now forever, dude. Who knows where they're going to take it next?
It changed it inside the canon of the MCU, and also changes it as a medium to tell stories.
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
I do feel that after this movie, just what we're saying about God of War. In fact, it's funny that both things came out within the same week, or
Yeah.
within the same month. Uh, because I do think, just as I mentioned with the God of War, I think this movie elevates the medium, the comic book movies, and they puts him on a different spot. I think it's just as big as the Dark Knight probably. Even though it's more like a family friendly, more like fun popcorn movie than the Dark Knight. I think it is like that. It puts the MCU movies specifically on a different level.
Nice, man. Well, all right, that's pretty much all the time we have. If you stuck with us for this long, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and most important of all, if you have any questions or anything at all, please leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Anything else, Shike?
That's all. Thank you for sticking with us, and remember, boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground again. That's never gonna die, dude. Everyone boots on
That's
the
never
ground,
gonna
dude.
die.
Next Call of Duty boots on the ground. All right, guys. Peace out. Live long, game
See
on.
you guys.
Peace.